Hey everybody, I'm Bobby Mason, here with Mountaintop Meals, and we are here with Jack and Peter. Both of them are professors at our very own Appalachian State, but recently they have started a group, a Boone area specific group on Facebook called Cookvid-19, and it's absolutely blowing up. As of yesterday, it had over 5,500 people in the group. A lot of people very enthusiastically contributing their cooking content. And it's really kind of inspiring to see the community that this little group has ended up creating. So first things first, it's great to be here with you. So how much experience do y'all have, if any, with, making food content and sharing it? Is it like an interest you've always had, or, just something that this circumstance kind of made you interested in?
Well, I have never, really made any food posts or cooking videos. But what I have done a lot with Peter and with our friend Gong is to send each other texts about what we ate, how we're gonna cook it, and just trying to make each other envious and jealous, it's been really motivating. We wake up and we think about what we're gonna eat for lunch. What we're gonna get at the grocery stores to get to get for dinner. And I mean, this is really my first time posting anything about cooking and food.
Yeah, same here. I mean, mine's basically been send a picture here and there. I mean, there was a little while where Jack and we'd send each other pictures from our offices at App State, and I'd show him what I'm making for lunch.
That's right.
and so it was fun. I mean, and so this is just, I've never gotten into like social media and throwing stuff up there, and so this is all new. So it's fun. I mean, I love to cook, and I love to share it with people. And so it's just a new way of doing it.
So what motivated y'all to turn kind of just what started out as, a friendly thing between two professors that know each other into, formalizing that and making a group out of it?
Well, I think it all happened one night when I couldn't sleep, and so I just got my phone out and started looking at the day's text messages with Peter and with Gong, and I look at some of his meals and dishes, and I'm like, I gotta make that tomorrow. I gotta make something that's better than what Peter is making, and and it just got me so excited and enthusiastic about it, and it also served as a good distraction from, obviously coronavirus and homeschooling with my children and so forth. And I kind of thought that if I'm deriving this kind of happiness and joy from looking at these, in thinking about food and thinking about cooking, I was sure that other people would be similarly interested too, right? So, I think it was 11:59 p.m. Right? I'm like, I'm doing this, right? And it just so happens, I think earlier today, Peter and I were just talking, and I was like, we need to call the group Cookvid, sort of model it after COVID-19, and then that's how the group was born.
I mean, this was really like conversations back and forth, and then Jack just taking it to the next level. I mean, I think, this is one of the funny things with me with Facebook is I got off of Facebook for like a year, and I recently, I don't know, within the last month or two, got back on it. And so it's been fun for that as well. And so I was just mainly using other things like Twitter and Instagram. And so I would have had no idea how to start a group on Facebook. And so I was happy when Jack took that on, and yeah, it's been super fun.
Yeah, and one thing you might not know is that Peter lives across the street from me. So whenever I would make something, I would run over there like, Peter, you gotta try this. And then when Peter cooks something amazing, he'll run over here and then ask me to try it. So I think we've really bonded over food, right? And that was not only a proximity, and I thought, maybe we can do something like that virtually, especially when we at the time we kind of knew that there was going to be an imminent shelter in place, that we were going to have to stay in our own homes. So I was thinking, is there a way to recreate that sort of bond on social media? And as you said, and I don't even think Cookvid is 3 weeks old, right? And already we have so many members, which just tells us that people crave, I think, each other's presence, no matter whether it's physical or online.
What is it, do you think, about food as opposed to other special interest groups that just makes it so easy for people to connect?
I think one thing about food is it's something that brings people together, and so it's not just enjoying good food. It's about having that conversation, that community. And one thing that we all kind of are dealing with differently is different community now. And we've lost some community. There's other ways of gaining it. But I think with food, it's a way of celebrating, hey, this is what I accomplished, and man, this tastes really good and you need to try it. And people just getting excited. I think it's pretty interesting that, like, at the grocery store, two of the main things that are gone besides toilet paper are yeast and flour. And so, I mean, but then you go by where the bread is, and there's tons of bread. So people are cooking. People are home making meals. People are turning their kitchens into, factories.
All of us have to eat, right? And we eat 2 or 3 meals a day, and just by virtue of that fact, food kind of structures our lives, right? And I think cooking and is really a reflection of what we consider to be healthy, delicious, nourishing, and especially during these times where we have to cook with whatever we have in the pantry, right? Especially when we can't go to the grocery store whenever we want. So I think that in this respect, some of the dishes that you see posted on Cookvid, really one way to think about them is that they are kind of an artwork, right? I mean, it's a product of people in our community, broadly construed, not only Watauga County, but in the United States, and globally, really, right? We're going to see how creative people are, right? How they can create amazing dishes, right? Using just 1 or 2 simple ingredients.
It's rather than people showing off. I've noticed a lot of people in the comments for people's posts being very supportive. I even made a post myself about sourdough bread and how I've always wanted to try making it, but I was nervous to. And immediately that was probably my most engaged with post, because people said, no, don't worry about it. Just go out on a limb. It's better to take that risk and actually try and do it.
Yeah, I mean, here we have to brag about our friend Chris Riley, right? I'm not sure if you saw that post where, I mean, talk about creativity and talk about an innovative idea, right? The guy took a pork butt and just slathered it with, was it peanut butter and jelly, right? PB&J pork butt.
And and put bananas on it.
That's right, and he was initially reluctant, right? But the way that I would characterize that was that he had a vision of what he wanted to do, right? Whether it was going to be successful or a failure, it doesn't really matter, right? Because he had a vision, he executed it, I think, beautifully, right? He asked around for ideas about how to make the sauce stick and so forth. And I'm happy to say that, you know, according to him, it was a huge success. Not even according to him. Peter and he gave us a sample, and it was absolutely delicious.
One thing that we've really wanted to do with this is to make it so that it is friendly to everybody, and wherever you're at on the spectrum of cooking, you know, it doesn't matter. And you know, what's interesting is, like, with social media and all of them just being set up as bully platforms, we wanted to make sure that this was something that is supportive, people are caring, and it doesn't have, you don't have to be the greatest chef in the world and put other people down. This is about building a community of support. And so we've really worked on that. Jack wrote a manifesto about it, and that's on Cookvid. And so, you know, we're just trying to support everybody wherever you're at.
So, you know, I love watching videos of, you know, professional chefs cooking their dishes, you know, masterfully, right? Awesome knife skills, or chopping, or dicing skills, or flambe, or what have you, right? But I also love seeing, you know, what my friends, you know, my neighbors, my people that I just know by face, you know, what are they cooking, right? What do they like to eat? I want to see what a regular Thursday or Friday dinner looks like, right? I really didn't care, because, you know, you can get inspired just by, you know, virtually anything, right? You're like, oh, I never thought about cooking, you know, my pork like that, right? I've never thought
The liver mush, like took off.
that got a little bit out of hand, but that's how you know that the Cookvid is based in the South.
Mm-hmm. And I think that's a sign to people coming together. You know, if people saw that and laughed at one post, but no, just kind of like you were saying, someone saw that and probably thought, well, you know what, I'll go out and buy some liver mush and try it, and try cooking with it.
I was worried that there might have been a liver mush shortage, you know, in the local grocery stores, but
yeah.
At least you got Peter to try it, right?
Yeah, that's right. I tried it for the first time.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
It's definitely a North Carolina classic. I'm actually familiar with some of the nieces who run Niece Sausage.
Oh, really? Huh?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, they're out of Greensboro, so they're another local business. I know some of them who are actually students at App right now, recently graduated and students.
Well, you got to get them on Cookvid and you know.
Well, I don't want to, you know, out him or anything, but one of them is on Cookvid. And I think he's kind of flattered by all of the support for his family's product.
Yeah, yeah, it's I've always loved liver mush and other liver products.
Mm-hmm. Well, one of the big things that I really wanted to talk about was the fact that, you know, like we've been discussing, this started out as something very lighthearted and fun, to distract people from what's going on and to encourage them to try new things, you know, get in the kitchen and, you know, mess up if that's what it takes. It's just about the fun of cooking. But then somewhere along the line, it seems like you realized, you know, you have 5,000 people who most of them are in this community. And in this community, you have a lot of people who are being affected by this. And one of the things you did was to encourage and set up a means to donate to Wine to Water and the Health and Hunger Coalition. What brought that about? Was it just seeing the success of the group, or was it something kind of where you thought maybe we could lead this in this direction?
Yeah, I was I was initially reluctant to set up this group, right? Because especially with this name, you know, Cookvid, obviously after COVID, that it might have been insensitive and perhaps callous to start a group about food, you know, especially at a time where some people would become food insecure. You know, when Peter and I were talking about this Facebook group, we knew that somewhere along the line we were going to do something to give back to the community and you know, and we somebody alerted us to Hunger Health Coalition, right, and to the care boxes that the Henley brothers at Wine to Water are doing. You know, those boxes are created to help people who are in need for food. You know, it serves two people for a week, right? And we thought these are just great organizations to contribute to. And you know, I just did some math this morning, and I'm happy to say that the Cookvid family, at the very least, has raised over $2,600 to benefit those two organizations.
And that's a very short period of time from when you set it up initially to donate.
Yeah.
Yeah, it moved fast. I mean, the group has blown up. I mean, we'll be at probably 6,000 by the end of today, I'd say. And so, but hey, look, I mean, this whole thing, there's a lot of people suffering, and there's a lot of people that are in a lot more need than others. And so, you know, with having a group that is about cooking, you know, it just made sense. It made so much sense to be able to give back and do something, or try and organize something where people could do this. You know, we also had others that, because this isn't just, we have most of our people in Boone and the surrounding areas, but this is national and international. And we've been contacted by other members that decided to donate locally to where they live and to give money there too. And so, yeah, this is something we've never seen before, and we're just trying to give back to our community and make it a healthy place, and a place that we can get through these kind of rough times right now and uncertain times.
Do you see this being something where, as I said, even after the outbreak dies down, it could continue to be a way of locals supporting other locals?
Yeah, absolutely. You know, we are currently working on a couple of ideas, you know, to develop Cookvid so that it would survive. It would survive the coronavirus. I can't tell you what they are right now, or else I have to cook you. What do you think, Peter?
We
do you think
Jack, we could talk about the T-shirt that we're doing and stuff.
Go for it. Yeah.
So right now we've just recently, because the logo before was a dish of, was that pho that you had on there?
It was just some sort of monster I made with the beans I had.
Okay, so it was a noodle dish, and so anyways, we needed to get we need to get a logo, and so we ended up just recently finishing up our logo and getting it on there, and so it's funny because when we started this, we're like, okay, we need to have this go on a T-shirt or something like that, and all the proceeds will go to the community. They'll go to the chefs in our community, the restaurants and so forth that can't be open, you know, and we'll start supporting our local food industry. And but what's so cool about this group is, as soon as we put that logo up, all the members start, and we didn't say anything. It was just like, here's the logo. And it was just immediately they start putting posts up there. Hey, we need to have T-shirts and aprons, and we need to donate this money. And it was exactly what Jack and I had been talking about. So that's one thing that we're looking at doing.
The plan is to use a local business in Boone/Blowing Rock. And then all net proceeds will go towards organizations that will help people in need. Right? Mm-hmm. It will be, you know, and the thing that I'm looking forward to once we release these T-shirts is that, you know, look, I mean, I only know maybe 10%, and that's a generous estimate, maybe 5% of the members. But the amazing thing is there's certain names that you just come to recognize. Peter and I frequently talk about that. Like, I wonder what so and so is making today, right? What fancy dishes? Oh, this person must be taking a day off today. After seeing but as creators of the group, we have we know the demographics of the members, and just in Boone alone, I think we have over 1,600 members. So what would be cool is if after this is over and we go to the grocery store, or to the movies, or to restaurants, and see other people we don't know immediately, but they're wearing a Cookvid T-shirt. So right away, it is something that whether Cookvid survives or not, right? We are going to remember this group, or at least I will remember this group as something that helped me cope, with the coronavirus, right? And even though I might not know this person who's wearing that T-shirt, right, there is already a deep connection, I would say, with this person, and that's precisely the sense of community, I think, that Peter, Gong is the third, the silent partner, Gong Mai and I, have as a vision for the group.
Mm-hmm. And I mean, you can see that very clearly, even just in people's posts and their comments. They're already excited to kind of be a part of this. And the number of times I've seen people jokingly say in a comment on someone's post, all right, I want my steak medium rare, I'll be there in 10 minutes. And I just get the sense that people really, they want to, really engage with the other people, and rather than just use it as a platform to show off what they're cooking, they want to engage with the other people and, say stuff like, let's have a barbecue after this is all over, or something like that. People, they crave that sense of community that this group is really developing.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people have already talked about a cookout, right? A giant potluck, and I gotta talk to all my neighbors here, but we could, we could shut down the neighborhood for a night, line it up with tables, and I suppose in a way, all the posts on Cookvid would be like, trailers for what you can expect, and does the liver mush shepherd's pie really taste as good as it looks, or is it as disgusting? What I'm hoping is that that we will get a chance, right, to meet one another, right, to eat one another's creations, and just reminisce, right, about this. How long has it been? A month and a half,
Mm-hmm.
2 years.
That's what it feels like.
Right.
What is, I guess, if there was like one message that you really do kind of want everyone in this group, in this community, to kind of receive, what would that be? What do you want them to take away from it?
Well, I would say it's just community and the importance. I mean, it's so interesting to be in this time where we want interaction. I want to be able to go and give Jack a high five, like awesome meal, but we can't. We have to do the social distancing, so it's really weird. It's not like we during this time that you can come together and do some work, some hard work, like when 9/11 happened and people came together, or Katrina happened and people came together and they were able to work together to pull their community back, right? And so they had this sense of community that way. This is different. This is, I have to be distant from you, but still have my community. And so I think that's one of the great things with this is you can see that people are, that we're doing our part in the community. We want to be engaged with each other. and have a good time and be supportive. And, someone cooks a hot dog, great, it's awesome. I like hot dogs. Or someone makes this like amazing meal. It's just for us to be able to continue to connect and have these human connections of support through this time. That's some of the stuff that I would hope continues and message that goes out.
What we hope, to tell, what I hope to tell all 5,500 members is that, hey, I'm here for you. Let me know how I can help, and like I said, food is universal, right? So, let us know how we can, how we can help you, right? Cope with this, these strange times.
One thing that I have always wanted is, like, with my kids and worried a little bit about too, is that, once they leave home and they go to college and so forth, the first time, will they know how to cook? Will they be able to go to the store and pick out the items that they need and put it together and make a healthy meal, and not have to, go and just always eat food that is not good for them with preservatives and, just this real unhealthy thing. And so, we try to do something where they cook a meal once a week. Well, now we can cook all the time together, and maybe something good like that will come out of this, where our kids start learning how to naturally cook too, and they develop these skills for a healthier life too.
It's something that starts out very natural and lighthearted, but very quickly becomes something, deeper and I guess more inspiring and more developing for people.
Yeah. I mean, I think, having to stay home, right? The coronavirus, really has made me, and I think others, rethink how we live our lives too, right? How we think about food. I realize how much food I was maybe wasting. How I can make last night's meal, right, into two more, right? This is the creativity I was talking about before, right? And so, the group is about food, but ultimately I think it forces us to think about who we are, right? In terms of, I guess, cooks, eaters, individuals, Otago residents, right? Global citizen, if you will, right? So, it's really inspired and taught me a lot, about myself and about others, and just how we care about one another.
Yeah, Jack, you must have a doctorate in philosophy there.
What's that?
Well, this has been a very inspiring conversation, and I'm sure even though the entire group of 5,500 people wasn't here to have it with us, this will be inspiring for them to watch too, and very motivating for them as well. And I can't thank you enough for the group that you've created, because even before setting up this interview and making something more out of it, it was just great for me to have a place to feel like, I can post some of the things that I've been cooking. And I know that's something that everyone in the group can relate to. And I'm very much looking forward to seeing where Cookvid-19 goes forward. I'm looking forward to seeing some of these secretive ideas that you have in development as they unfold. And just thank you again for having this conversation.
All right. Well, thank you for having us.
Yeah, thank you. This was great.